Hello, everybody. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. Severe thunderstorms developing in the Missouri River Valley, where we have a tornado watch in all of these areas of red and pink until the 11 o'clock hour tonight. Now, the latest severe weather is heading toward the capital city right now. A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued there. Confirmed tornado has been on the ground in southern Sioux County. That cell is moving toward the Missouri River Valley and not far from you folks outside of Selfridge. Notice that there's still some spin and tight spin right here as this storm is forming one out ahead of the main event. So this system is lurching its way out to the east at about 15 to 20 miles per hour is all very heavy rain, very large hail, and an embedded tornado that has at times been confirmed on the ground is moving right along the South Dakota border there. There is Highway 6 heading right towards 1804 and the Missouri River Valley right now, not far from you folks in Fort Yates. Now, as we take a look at the latest on the radar data tonight, we do have that risk of all modes of severe weather. Very large hail has been potentially another aspect of the storms. Now, I'm going to take a look at the most recent scan and show you the warning for the Bismarck area. Now, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for the capital city, including Mandan, Lincoln, out by the airport, and the Bismarck area. For this thunderstorm moving northeast at 35 miles per hour, a considerable damage threat is possible from this storm as it moves into the capital city. Almost 2-inch diameter hail from this puppy as it barks its way northward into the capital city from the south. So if you are out there at the University of Mary, you're going to see this first. Out at the airport, you'll see this first. And in fact, let's take a look here momentarily. 60 mile per hour gusts and extremely large hail is what you need to prepare for now. So if you have time, and kids, if you're home alone, well, now is the time to seek shelter in that interior room. Stay away from those windows and get to the lowest floor possible if you can. It's just a safe idea to do with this storm. Now, let's take a look at something I was just looking at. The DOT cameras from the Bismarck area show this storm in awesomeness. This is a very dark sky heading toward the capital city. So as we go down on the south side here, and look down from downtown and a view from the Capitol building, you can see all the hazy gray skies there. Not too impressive on that particular view. See this view here, though, an image not available. How about this view here? I was just looking at this and looking at the, there it is. So on the upper left-hand quadrant, you can see the lowering cloud bases making their way in as looks like there's some work there on the, is that the expressway or is that the interstate? That looks like well, that looks like the interstate there, working its way through I-94. There it is. Look at that, straight down to the south. There is a cloud base that has no rain going on there. You can see the air between the base of the cloud, and then a lowering cloud base. That thing gets a lot lower, and then down straight south of town over the airport there, you're seeing this. Look at this right here. You can't even see it very well, but there is an inflow notch or tail on that part of the storm there. So let's take a look at this from the Mandan side up on the hill, see if we can see anything there. I was getting a couple of different awesome perspectives on this moments ago. From Mandan at the Collins Avenue area, check this nonsense out. These skies are just boiling out there to the west of the Mandan area. So North Dakota road reports showing that those skies are ominous heading into the capital city right now. Now, the storm that is heading in the general direction of you in the capital city has that main risk of thunder, lightning, hail, flooding rains, as well as gusty straight line winds. Let's get back to the radar and I'll show you what I'm seeing on this storm as it makes its way into the capital city area. So here's Bismarck, here's Lincoln, here's the airport, and this is a hail core right here moving in on the area. But I want to point this area out right here. See the bright greens and the bright reds next to each other. With the Doppler radar, Hutch can measure how fast that wind is as it's working its way right toward the radar right now, and it's going to be very low to the ground because it's very close to the radar site. Let's get to it. Let's take a look at the surface radar, and we're going to look directly at velocity, which is what we have on here now. I want to turn on my ability to look at this velocity, and what you're going to see is how fast this is picking up winds just off the ground. 55, 60 miles per hour right here. This is not far from what looks like Lincoln, well, this is going to be moving in on the University of Mary along 1806 and areas south of town there, right here. So indeed, Here is about the University of Mary as you're coming up the hill. Here is the gusty wind, and it's blowing right toward the Bismarck-Mandan area right now, across 1806. So keep that in mind. If you're out there at any of the state parks, get out of those areas. Wind gusts in this storm. Now, this is looking directly into the beam, and we're getting 60-mile-per-hour measurements from the storm at this lower level. What level is that in the cloud? How high off the ground is this that I'm measuring? Let's see if I can take a look at that. And right here, we're looking at an elevation of only 322 feet off of the ground from the radar site. So this is some gusty winds that the radar is seeing on the lower levels of the atmosphere that could easily mix down toward the surface. So that is a look at that. Let me turn that tool off. Now let's take a look at this storm system that's moving into the Bismarck area momentarily. Get prepared for gusty straight line winds and hail. I want to look at the hail. Reflectivity core right here on the edge of this storm where we're seeing these blue colors here. That is a serious core of hail that's heading into the Lincoln area. Here is Lincoln, North Dakota. Here is the airport at Bismarck on the south side of town. This is that Walmart area, and the I-94 expressway going through the south side of town would be down there. So that is the area of concern for the very gusty straight line winds to hit first. And that's what we're seeing on the cameras looking down to the south in that area. So that's a look at that. Now let's take a look at other active warnings. If you happen to be in southern Burleigh County here, this area is seeing some significant storminess right along 1806 and the Missouri River Valley down south of Bismarck, and that's where the hail core is right now. So that's that storm. Here's a look at the tornadic storm. This one did produce a tornado. Let me look at the National Weather Service information on this. Left-moving supercell approaching Bismarck-Mandan, notable hail signatures. So the warning includes golf ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour gusts. New tornado warning on the storm. Has not been on the ground recently, but could be rain wrapped if there is a tornado right now. So that's what the Weather Service is saying about this storm here, south of Selfridge, moving east. And let's see what the latest movement is saying on this particular warning here. National Weather Service says the storm's moving east at only 9 miles per hour and baseball-sized hail, 1.75-inch size hail possible from that particular storm as it works its way off to the east. Here is a look at the hail core. It's not far from Selfridge and points south, but the rotating part of the storm was on the south side. Let's take a look at that briefly as we look at the storm relative velocity. There it is. So we have some bright greens next to some very bright reds. This is spinning in the cloud, and that's a tornado vortex structure right there that has a magnitude of 7. It's a strong vortex. Thanks for joining me. And again, if you are new to watching, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Been covering the weather in the northern plains here for 26 years in Bismarck, in Fargo, and in western parts of Minnesota, eastern Montana, and northern South Dakota. And I got to tell you what, these storms are pretty nasty tonight, and particularly in the early onset of these storms here, we have that risk for a few of them to produce some tornadoes. Now, here is a look. I'm just getting some baseball-sized hail photos apparently coming in from these storms that are working their way into the region. So I got to tell you, this is a nasty storm. This is only a few miles south of the Mandan area. Baseball-sized hail was reported not far from the Mandan area. That's what's heading up into the capital city. That storm has shown some signs of larger broad-scale rotation. The tight rotation, though, is in Sioux County, and that's what's going on there. I'm going to look for questions from you, the audience. And again, that's what makes Hutch's Weather unique. I'm going to look at all my channels right here. Thanks for the update, says Clarine, you bet. Janine says, will Valley City get it? Well, these storms are a long ways from Valley City. You are not in the watch yet. The time frame is going to be much later tonight, between 10 and midnight for the eastern third of North Dakota, for these storms to even begin to arrive. Will they still be severe is the question. Models differ on that. I think the main threat in our area in eastern North Dakota will be gusty straight line winds. Hi from Emden. Good to have you on, Brendan. Brenda, rather, I'm very sorry. Sisseton going to get any? It's going to be very late for Sisseton. Same thing goes for the eastern portion. The I-29 corridor will be closer to midnight. Any tornado activity, Lincoln or Bismarck. Kelly Joe, there is a rotating thunderstorm working its way into the capital city right now. Let's go into the latest. I'll answer your question directly right now. Here is a look at Lincoln. So here's Bismarck. Lincoln is just off to the east of the airport, right? Hutch used to live there. Now, as we take a look at this, we've got this rotating thunderstorm showing up right here. The greens and reds you're seeing right now is what's called storm relative velocity. So we do have some areas where there is some spin in this storm starting to show up. It's not as strong of a spinning signature as the storm that we're seeing down in Sioux County, but there's some spin with this storm. And as the crow flies, this is not very far away. Let's see if I can get my measurement tool out here. Let me see a line. We're going to measure a line from the airport to where the gusty wind is. So that's right here. It's only 5 miles away. So you're looking at a line. Here's the Bismarck Airport and the National Weather Service Forecast Office. If you've ever driven by and seen that large golf ball out to the south of the airport, that is the Doppler radar that's providing all of us with this data right now. This is a gusty line of winds. It's 6 miles to the south of the airport right now. It's moving north, and it's moving at a clip of about 30 miles per hour. So you can turn that line measurement tool off. Now we got that measurement down. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest text update from the National Weather Service office here. It looks like the speed and the storm direction is northerly at about 30 miles per hour is the movement of that storm. So again, that particular cell, it says no tornado detected on this storm system. There's some broad rotation with that particular storm. So that's a look at that storm moving into the Bismarck area. Pam says, will it reach Edgeley? It is moving east or north. This storm moving into Bismarck is moving basically more northerly. So that's why this box, this yellow box you see, is drawn to the north. So this cell here is moving north. Let me give you a more typical radar reflectivity view. This is the thunderstorm activity. Here's the hail core is moving in towards Lincoln and Bismarck at the airport right now. It's moving over the University of Mary right now. That's the hail core. That is the big time hail that we saw pictures of, or some pictures have been submitted. If you have photos, you can upload yours at hutchesweather.com. Hutchesweather.com gives you a place to share your reports of severe weather. Hutchesweather.com, click on the photo section. You can view photos and upload yours today. And again, those photos have been coming in of northern lights and you name it. We'll go over that sometime later, but for now, we'll get right back to the storm coverage here. As we see the hail core right here moving in toward the Bismarck area right now. This is what it looks like from the DOT cams right in the Bismarck area as this system works its way in from the south into Bismarck. It's a warned storm. The main risk is going to be the considerable hail threat with this storm. I'm looking to see what camera is going to give me the best perspective of the base of the clouds coming into the area. Oh, look at that. Okay, so this is a view from the interstate. Now you're looking at I-94 right here. That's looking west towards Mandan and the State Street exit. Here you go. See the lowering cloud bases out there as that puppy is crawling across toward the airport. So this is the hill on the north side of Bismarck, down the hill and into the bowl down there by the airport. That's where the hail is right now. So that's an incredible view of the darkening skies. Here's another view from that, and you can see all the dark out there. Pea-size hail in Lincoln, Kelly Joe says. Thank you for your report. When will Twin Valley get tonight and into the morning? I think very heavy rain potential in Twin Valley and thunderstorms. It could be breezy, and they begin after midnight tonight for you and will last until daybreak and into the midday hour for your area. It's not going to storm the entire time. We're going to have waves of storms moving through. That's your answer. I hope that helped, Crystal. Thanks for asking. Pat says, will it reach Edgeley? I think I addressed that. What about Kitson County? Pretty humid here. Yeah, Tracy, we definitely have storms that'll be moving towards your area. It will be midnight-ish before they get up into the northern Red River Valley, including Kitson County. Check this out now as this storm cell is moving into the Bismarck area. It looks like if you're in Mandan, the storm is going to skirt off to the east. So we're really more concerned about you folks in Lincoln, right at the airport, and the east side of the metro area. And again, the river then separates Bismarck from Mandan, Burley from Morton County, the Missouri River right here, and it's right over that Missouri River Valley now, right over 1804, right down on the south side of town. Here is the expressway loop as you take a look at that going through the south and west side of town. These are the dark skies you're seeing. Here's the airport's radar right here. This is the cone of silence from the movies, but this cone of silence is around a radar site, and it's areas where we can't get information back from the radar beam that close. So it hits things like the ground and such. So we filter that out, and that's a cone of silence right there, meteorologically accurate. Here's Lincoln, North Dakota. Now, if you're in Lincoln, if you're out there on well, Benteen Drive going around the south side. Okay, you got some hail core moving up from the south, and that hail core is going to be delivering some significant hail potential. Now, let's take a look at the storm down to the south with the rotation. Ooh, look at this one by Solon and on the this is on the Cannonball area, Cannonball River. As we look down here, we got definitely that dark sky that is in that area, and we do have some developing hail here. I was showing cloud top heights reaching upwards of 60,000 feet with this cell here on the far south side. I want to take a minute and point this out. This is huge. This is a monster storm. It encompasses a half a county. Most thunderstorms are 10 miles in diameter. This thing is huge. It's becoming a cluster of storms. A couple of models last night and this morning showed a couple of clustered storms forming and then basically moving out into southeast North Dakota. So if you are in Ellendale, if you are in Ashley, if you are in Wishick, this cluster of multiple thunderstorms, now it's not just one, multiple thunderstorms will be making its way in your general direction. New thunderstorm warning for our viewers in South Dakota and McLaughlin on the far south side. Now, I do want to point this out. In a cluster of thunderstorms, sometimes the strongest of the cells persist in the far southern category or area of the storm. So McLaughlin, seek shelter in a steady, sturdy structure from this hail-producing storm. 1.5-inch diameter hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts will be possible from this severe thunderstorm threat. So again, if you're just joining Hutch, I appreciate you watching. If you have a question, drop it. I'll look at the comments coming at me from my other platforms. Let me check out the YouTube channel here to be fair to those folks as we head into the evening hours. So here is what we have going on. Let me see. I appreciate you, Sean. Thanks for joining. You are from Virginia. Good to see you. And Sean, thank you. Are you in the Northern Plains now, Sean? Let me know. I'm going to have a thunderstorm tomorrow in the Virginias. Okay. Scattered thunderstorms. And Horse Crazy says, where you been lately, Hutch? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm working on a lot of exciting stuff with Hutch's Weather. I've just launched a website. I've done a little bit less here on my YouTube platform nationally. That's all coming. I'll keep doing it. And that's why I'm here now, to make sure you realize I'm still here. And I apologize for not doing regular updates on this YouTube platform. But if you're watching on YouTube, please punch the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like it. And if you have a question, let me know. Drew Ferguson says, will you be live streaming tomorrow's severe weather? Drew, that's a very good question. The risk moves off to the east. That means central Minnesota, Iowa. Let's go over that right now as we have the ability on Hutch's Weather to go over that. Active severe thunderstorms from Bismarck and Point South. Stuck in the hospital here in Fargo, but hoping the weather doesn't get too bad, Pamela says. In Jamestown while I'm away from home. Well, it doesn't look like the risk is going to be into the James River Valley until later tonight around 11 o'clock. So anytime after 10, we could see some storms. I think the main threat in your area, Pamela, will be that gusty wind. Thank you, Dan, for your stars and sharing your stars. All of you are supporting Hutch's Weather, and you're making it more bigger. That's right. Hutch's Weather is growing. Exciting announcements coming in days. Do not stray far from hutchesweather.com and from my social sites here. I have a huge announcement coming, and it's really big. Really, really big. Okay, now let's take a look at some things here. Thanks for going. BA, thank you. It's a star party out there. I appreciate all the stars. They help me invest in this weather platform. You're seeing some newer graphics here, some new content to be able to show to you, and a new ability to show different things like the severe weather threat. So I'm going to turn off the watches here. Give me a second because I'm still learning how to use my new toolbox. Sometimes you get new tools. It's exciting, but then you also have to realize that it takes a little bit to learn where all of the handles and controls are. So let me turn off the watches here. Let's see. There we go. I found it. The watches are off. What I want to point out is our severe weather risk from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. Not for today. We'll show today's. Today's risk is yellow. Yellow is an area where we could see severe storms. Notice we have some storms firing all the way up highway. This looks like Max. If you're in Max or the 83 corridor north of Bismarck, you're talking anywhere from the Burn, Washburn, all the way up into Minot. Some storms are starting to form, and they're strong and strengthening. Not as strong as the south ones yet, but they're making themselves known. The yellow area will see numerous severe thunderstorm potential tonight. Hail, upwards of 2 to 3 inches in diameter, and gusty winds will be the main threat in the yellow area. The main problem here in the orange area is tornado risk. There is a tornado risk, and we have already had a active tornado on the ground in parts of Sioux County. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing a picture here of a significant tornado 4 miles north of, oh by golly, Strasburg. 4 miles north of Strasburg. And that is heading north. That's the storm that's not far from the Bismarck area. Big time hail also with these storms. This is the severe thunderstorm risk for tonight, and the tornado risk is real. Big tornado on the ground is what I just saw. And I'd sure love to have you upload your photos on hutchesweather.com of any severe weather that you see in your area. Here is a look at the severe weather risk for tomorrow. Now, this will update a little bit, but notice Minneapolis to Mason City is where that risk is going to be greatest in the northern plains. The yellow area is a level 2 out of a 5-level scale. Hail upwards of 2 inches in diameter and gusts to upwards of 70 mile per hour will be possible. And here is where you were saying the Virginias have a chance for some severe weather. And we're looking at areas near Charlotte, North Carolina, Virginia Beach, and Roanoke. So that area has what we call a marginal risk area in green. Marginal means the storms may flirt with severe criteria as well. So that's what's going on there. Okay, this is what I want you to know. There is in Strasburg or near Strasburg, there was a tornado on the ground. It was a big one. This was not a small one. And the photo that I'm looking at here, 4 miles north of Strasburg, looking to the west. Okay, so let me go back, and I'm going to turn off this content, and we're going to go ahead and look at that storm and look at the velocities on that. I'm going to pull up my velocity now, and let's get right back into North Dakota. Boom, here we go. Look at that view. Now let's get down here. This is the Strasburg area over here. So as we zoom in, you can start to see Cannonball 4 miles north of Strasburg right here. That 4 miles north of Strasburg, it doesn't even look like we have looking west. Don't know how far west that was. So looking from the west of Strasburg, you're looking into this puppy. A crystal clear view of this, so that there is a confirmed tornado on the ground with some visuals going on. And this is not a small tornado. So there is definitely a confirmed tornado hitting down. It's maybe not on the ground all the time, but that tornado warning does continue until 6:45 Central Daylight Time. You're looking at 6:33 as your active time clock right now on the radar. So that is a dangerous storm. Nasty hail falling from it as well. That was upwards of baseball size working its way through. So some baseballs working their way through south of the Bismarck area, moving into the Bismarck area. So now let's take a look at that, those storms and the ones up north. Where are they moving? See this? Wow, let me go ahead and get to the latest scan and loop it. So this is going to loop the last little bit here, and what you're seeing, yep, there. Let me get it out from behind me. My apologies. Okay, so we have a severe thunderstorm. This box has been reshaped now. It does include Mandan, but look at what's heading towards you. Some garden variety showers off to the west. That's not the main event. This is the main event coming up from the south. It's going right toward the National Weather Service forecast office right now and heading into Lincoln right in the next couple of minutes with that hail core. Here's the hail core with that particular cell. It does look like it's going to be capable of some up to 1.5 inch diameter hail as it's working its way in. You can see Lincoln right here. This is the University of Mary down on the south side of town, that area too. As we are seeing college classes starting back up, we have some severe weather to be concerned about, and it's working its way through. Is this storm rotating? Let Hutch take a quick look. Base velocity showing that I am not seeing, well, yeah, I'm starting to see some outflow. You see that? Kind of punching out and away. So as that hail core made its way south of Bismarck, the mass of the rain and hail coming down, boom, is blowing out in all directions. That's outflow from that storm there. So that's a gust front moving out and away from the storm. And we could be seeing some gusty winds moving into Bismarck. Let's see how fast these velocity signatures are here right quick. We get to the latest scan. We'll go here and we'll see how fast this wind is picking up. This is going to be real close to the radar. I'm picking up a couple of pixels of 60 mile per hour or better winds, very close to the ground here. So 55 to 60 mile per hour winds moving in south of town. They're right now on the hill out there by the University of Mary, and that wind and hail and mass is heading into the capital city now. So you look down here, we've got 46 to 50 mile per hour winds showing up on this south side of town, heading into the Bismarck area, mainly South Bismarck, Lincoln, and the airport area under the gun for the heaviest of the rain and hail right now. And with any luck at all, it's going to slide to the east. But you know, if you're in the Minokan area, that area there, east of town, is going to have a chance at seeing some of the gusty winds. So anything on the east side here of the metro capital city area there, Bismarck, Mandan, Lincoln, Minokan, that's where the action is. So, oh, for goodness sakes. Okay, the radar went down shortly ago, but techs are on their way to resolve the issue. The radar's outside and there's a storm coming. Okay, so that's really dangerous work out there. The radar appears to be down. Yep. Quarter inch to half inch hail south of Lincoln being reported by an emergency manager out there. Thanks so much for your reports. And again, if you do have reports, you can share them here in the comments section. I'll look here. Let's see what we got for comments. Thank you so much. Brenda, it's good to have you on. Tyler, thank you for joining the party, as well as Jojo. Thanks for your stars. Heading to Grand Forks area. Jojo wants to know, Jojo, let me tell you, it's going to be very late before these storms work their way through, and the risk of severe will be a lot lower as they work their way into our area. I'm going to switch radar now. We're going to the Deering radar up by Minot so we can get a closer view of these storms that are up here. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, so it's not letting me. Boom. Okay, let's go here. Next rad. Reflectivity. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a radar that's a little bit farther away from this area. Oh, let's just do this. Let's go up and load the, where is it? Pardon me while I get my toolbox settings out here again. Scenes. All right, here we go. So what we're going to look at is a composite radar. This will show radar from the entire region, and it's going to take just a second to load, and here we go. Now we can see what's moving into the Minot area. This is showing that we do have some storms developing on 83 south of Minot, not far from Max and Garrison, moving and developing off to the east. Some of this may not even be reaching the ground yet. As we take a look at the latest scan here on the loop, I want to turn that off briefly and just go to the most recent scan. We're going to look at cloud top heights. That tells Hutch which ones are forming and which ones are collapsing and really causing issues. So as we take a look at this radar here, let's see if we can see reflectivity. Okay. All right, so I'm having problems finding exactly what it is I want to show. That's my fault. I'm just learning this new software here as best that I can. It does look like I'm going to have to shift back to the single site radar data, and the single site is down in Bismarck, so that's my concern. This composite is going to be built from other radars even while the Bismarck one is down. Aberdeen is showing the velocity well. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. We're under a tornado watch in Pierre. I see nothing on the radar. Or even on Futurecast. My thoughts. David, thank you for your question. Hey, if you have friends in central parts of South Dakota, David, I appreciate you passing the good word that Hutch is here covering the weather. Let me get a non-tilted view so we can see Pierre here. Notice where everything is firing. The heat was just so much that we have what's called a cap down there. I can take a look at that for you, but essentially that cap is going to limit some of the development down south. We can take a look at a couple of models here if you all want to real quickly, and I think I will so I can answer your question, Peter. But let me go ahead here and load up a model, and I'm going to pull up a couple different ones. Let me zoom out so you can see Pierre. And if I'm zoomed in or zoomed out just a little bit too much for you, just ask the question on Hutch's weather. I'll do my goodest to get that information up and foremost on your screen here. So this is a look at some model data. Now, let me load up the one that I think is handling things the wellest, the most bestest here. The WRF model has not been bad tonight. Let's see what the HRR is doing. The high resolution rapid refresh model loading up here. Let me take a loop that goes out into tomorrow because, well, this is going to be a problem for parts of the Red River Valley, Minnesota into tomorrow. And let's load the loop. So be patient with me because this is all loading up in real time here on your screen. And what is it loading here? Oh, no layer. That's why. How about some reflectivity? There we go. Okay. Now, this will help us all see that as we go through this, this loop of data, and it's going to take a second to load, there isn't a lot of activity that fires off down here until later, and it gets into the eastern part of South Dakota. So you're right. What you're seeing, my thoughts on that is it's just too hot above the ground right now. Here's the problem in our area and across our nation. National Weather Service offices launch weather balloons. Those balloons are launched not from every National Weather Service office, but only from a select few. Aberdeen and Bismarck are two in our area that launch balloons. We don't launch a balloon from Rapid City from up here. We don't launch a balloon from the Mayville area or the Grand Forks office. Nope, that doesn't happen. So those balloons only get launched from a few locations. We can use models to take a guess from the model's perspective of what the atmosphere looks like with temperature and moisture as we go up through the atmosphere, but it's not always right because the model is just making a calculation of what the model or the atmosphere may look like in time in the future. So what's going on here is a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere, and essentially it's just too hot for these storms to punch through a layer of hot air. We're heating the surface up. That air wants to rise. It's humid. It wants to rise even faster. But if there's hot air up where it's rising, it's going to hit that hot air and it's just going to flatten out, and that tower is going to collapse before it even gets started. So this is the forecast model. What you're looking at, this model handling it pretty good at the onset. It has this cluster of storms moving to southeast North Dakota and fizzling out. But more fire up in the Devil's Lake Basin as we go through time. Let me stop this from looping and we'll put it right here. So here's the main event right now. The tornadic cluster moves out towards areas north of Aberdeen and starts to diminish in intensity. Now, this looks like it's falling apart everywhere, but look at what's going on. Showers and thunderstorms will continue tomorrow, the severity of which will not be as severe as what's going on right now. But we could have some strong and windy thunderstorms into the overnight and into your morning. Let me get the right timestamp on here for you. My apologies for that. This is the current time. Now you're looking at the model time. Midnight. 12:30, pardon me. So as we go through the overnight hours, these storms will move out. You can actually see a warm front here, and this is the north side of the storm system here. So we're going to have a warm front moving in overnight. That could mean some areas of spin. We could have some areas of very strong thunderstorm activity that from time to time will fester up in the overnight hours and create hail and damaging straight line winds. Those will be my main concerns, but we will watch, because if this is fueled by a strong south wind through the overnight hours, then these storms could be severe in the overnight. So keep that in mind. Check this out here. This model is indicating that at 4 in the morning, we could have some heaters north of Fargo. Again, if you're in Pierre, not so much. David, thank you. And if you tag friends of yours in central South Dakota that Hutch is covering your weather, let them know. Hello from Plummer, Minnesota. Good to have you on board. Look at this, Grand Forks. Look at this, Thompson. Look at this for you in Northwood and Mayville. There's a chance of some stronger storms in the overnight hours from midnight periodically in waves. So we'll get a wave moving through there around that midnight hour, and then we go through the overnight, another wave comes through, and then we go into tomorrow, another wave develops, all the way until noon tomorrow, a chance of thunderstorms here in the valley. That's going to fuel some very heavy rain, and if you're in agriculture, if you're trying to get the crops off the ground, there'll be some areas that get some heavy rain from these storms. Thanks for tagging your friends. That helps spread the good word of Hutch's weather. So Jamestown going to get storms. I think there's a good chance if we focus in on Jamestown here. This is one model. Keep in mind, not one model consistently gets storm tracks right every time, and specifically locations of where thunderstorms develop. It's just guidance for us. It tells us that we'll have thunderstorms in and about the area of Stutsman County, including Jamestown, between 10 and midnight tonight. Then, as we go through the overnight hours, could they be severe, windy, and maybe some hail? Those storms move up towards Cooperstown, but we could get more into the early morning hours. So waves of storms tonight are possible. Yes, in Jamestown. Hello from Badette, Linda. Hello from Winger, Brandon. Good to have you on board as well. Let me check out my my YouTube channel here. I'm trying my bestest to keep my eyes on all of your questions, comments, and concerns. Thank you so much. Anything for the Oaks area, Chris? Yes, we just went over that, and I hope that you're able to tune in and keep up with the very latest. So again, no matter what platform you're watching on right now, I want to just take 1 minute and say, staying informed of weather as it moves into your area and whether or not a warning has been issued is critical. It really is. And even if you have a hard time and have a real fear of the weather, staying full of information is your best defense. Okay, so if storms are approaching your area, they could become severe tonight, even into the overnight hours. But the main threat overnight is going to be wind and hail, and it's not going to be as strong of a threat as we have right now off to the west. Tom, good to have you on board. Good old Tom. I hope you and your boys and your family's doing good, Tom. It's good to see you on board. Yeah, good to see you, my friend. Okay, so this is a look at that forecast model, and I want to show you a look at how much rain this thing is showing as well. So this is total precipitation from this particular model, and I'll load the loop up here, so we'll go to the end of the 18 hour. Then this isn't even all of the rain, but let's pause it at the end when it gets in. Here we go. So this one says less rain chance in Fargo, less of a rain chance as we go into areas of the Southern Valley. I don't know I buy all of that, right? But we'll see. Some areas have a chance at seeing some of this pink and white stuff. Now, what I want you to keep in mind, and this is the model, not the Doppler radar, so let me switch my banner up here for you. I apologize. Model guidance says that as we go through tomorrow at 11 a.m., most of the rain should be gone. How much rain is that? Let me show you. That is, as I click on an area, 3.3 inches there. Doesn't mean it's going to hit exactly there. That's the point I want you to take in mind. The potential is there for some areas to get gully washed with rain. This is going to be in that Red Lake County area where we're seeing this near 3-inch. We're going to look at Pennington County with 2 inches or more. We're looking at Grand Forks and Northern Polk County here. So if you are in the areas just off to the East Grand Forks area, that is going to have a chance of some heavy rain. Thompson and Grand Forks proper, this model says 1 to 2 inches of rain. Not going to be out of question. Will it move right over Grand Forks? That's the part Hutch isn't sold on exactly. This could shift a little bit either way. And again, it's just potential. Thank you so much. Okay, Brittany says, you had mentioned earlier about Otter Tail being the top 2 counties for tornadoes in Minnesota. I've looked it up, and we've had 83 in 71 years. The next closest counties had 75, 61. Yes, doing the climatological research is Brittany. Thank you, Brittany, and I applaud you for taking that. And the rest are under 45. So there's a couple of things going on. Something geologically, something in the terrain is likely impacting what's going on in Otter Tail County, in Polk County, the 2 top tornado-prone counties in the state of Minnesota. But they're also very, very large tornadoes, and they have reasonably decent populations across the area. In other words, it's only a few miles between towns, so more people can see them. Some of the more huge counties that are very, very sparsely populated, say maybe St. Louis County or in the Arrowhead of Minnesota, you're not going to have as many people to see the tornado, to report the tornado. But now with cell phones and everything else, those numbers are probably going up everywhere and likely because of that. So now in the Devil's Lake Basin, we're going to have some pockets of 1 to 2 inches of rain and even a chance for some of that to fall in and around Devil's Lake. So if you happen to be out in the Beltrami area, because I know I have some viewers out there, right? And this model says upwards of an inch or so may be possible in that area, maybe 2. Do I think this is going to happen for sure? No. But the potential is there as we go into your Thursday midday. Passing periods of locally heavy rain will continue. And this thing says Butkus for Fargo and nothing for Lakes Country. I don't know that I believe that. So that's a look at this one model. Let me load another model up and show you its rendition of that. This is the high resolution model. It's updated every hour. And that's one of the problems with models like this, in my humble opinion. It updates every hour, so it changes its mind every hour, right? I don't like that. Now let's take a look at this high resolution model here. Let me see if I can clear all these measurements out, and then we'll start with the new model and load that up. There we go. Okay, now we're going to go out here till tomorrow in the afternoon and see what it has for precipitation loaded up. All right. Hi, Todd. Good to have you on from Lair. Is there a tornado confirmed in North Dakota? It was. And will it hit 19th Street? Peter Morris, thanks for your question. If you're talking about Bismarck and Mandan, 19th Street, the chances of that are not as good. I will get back to the radar here very momentarily, so thanks for bearing with me. What I'm trying to do is give everyone a picture that this storm system is going to work its way out of Bismarck through the James River Valley, and as it does so, this is rainfall amounts or potential. Notice this model is significantly different, dousing Fargo with rain, dousing parts of Grand Forks County as well as northwest Minnesota with rain, all the way up into Roseau and Kitson County. So there's going to be a chance for some very, very heavy rain between now and Thursday afternoon in the Red River Valley, including Fargo and including Grand Forks. And some of us could see significant amounts of rain. Could the Leaf Mountain, otherwise known as Inspiration Peak, be Otter County's coincidence of higher tornadoes? That's a wonderful point. That there, as far as I know, have been no studies of that. I think that the main thing that we're looking at with regards to the risk of tornadoes in Otter Tail County being numero uno, definitely terrain has a play in it, right? So we've got this huge former basin of Lake Agassiz here. And as you go through Clay County and head up into Becker County, there's a bowl of low terrain in the Red River Valley, and then that terrain rises. So think, with rising terrain, warm, humid air pushing up against that terrain slowly and gradually rises and adds to the lift, and it can add to the rainfall amounts in those areas. That may indeed have something to do with it. You are onto something. Good job. Bonnie, how about Bemidji? Bemidji's chances of rain come late into the overnight or even morning hours and all the way through midday tomorrow, and you could have even more tomorrow and into Thursday. Dar, good to have you on. What about Wishick? You skipped my question multiple times. Dar, I'm not trying to. I'm scrolling through these questions the best I can. Let me see if I can find your tornado. Hutch, anything for Wishick? The answer is yes. So Ashley and Wishick are right in the path of these storms right now, Dar. And there you are in the Ashley Wishick area in Green Lake, right? And all of my favorite, best sausage shopping places right down here as you get into Emmons County and Hazleton and Wishick sausage. Y'all, I ain't trying to skip you. This is you. Heavy rain from these storms tonight. And yes, you're under a tornado watch in your area. There is a chance for some nasty storms. Dar, let's get back to the local radar. I hope this answers some of your questions. I'm not trying to skip your questions multiple times, Dar. I'm just, with the best of my ability, trying to focus on the radar, the forecast, and your questions to the best I can. Thank you for asking. Now, let's take us a glance at what's going on in Bismarck, Mandan right now, because that storm was making its way through. Let's go back to the radar there, and I'm going to see if the Doppler radar is back in action in Bismarck. It looks like it is. Okay. Well, let me see. Let me double check that. Radar returned to service. Quick work by the techs. Give them 5. That away. Boom. All right. Bismarck, thunderstorm warning. Look at that hail, how far it's moved. The hail threat's now in central and northern parts of Morton County. So if you're in Wing, if you're up by Regan, out there by Wilton, those areas where the hail core is making its way through. We can't loop it because I'm sure the Bismarck radar was missing some. We do have some hail size. Lincoln. Hutch said Lincoln down by the airport, best chance of hail, and that's what it looks like happened. There was some sizable hail there in excess of 1/4 in diameter and in size. So, significant hail making its way through the southern part of the Bismarck area. That's now moving into central parts of Morton County. Here is the spinning storm. Here's Ashley and Wishick. So again, it's over Hutch's head here. That's where Wishick is. As the crow flies, let's measure this for you. Here's the hail core. Do you see the pinks here? That's moving in the general direction of the Wishick area. The rain. Here's the start of the rain edge right here where we see the yellows. How far is that from Wishick? Bink, bink. 25 to 30 miles away from you. It's moving at about 20 miles per hour at last check. Let me double check that. Turn off my line measurement tool here. Okay, so this storm that is affecting Fort Yates and Emmons County near Linton. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the severe thunderstorm warning is for. Boom. This severe thunderstorm warning is moving east at only 16 miles per hour. It's in effect until 7:15. 1-inch hail, 70-mile-per-hour gusts of wind. So that's what's heading your way, and it's only moving at 15 miles per hour. That's still a couple hours away from you there, Dar. So keep that in mind as well. Thank you again for your questions. I'm not chastising anybody for that. How's Walcott Kindred looking for tonight? Kind sir, Kindred is going to see storm chances be very late tonight. I think midnight for the Kindred area in here in the FM area. Hello from Florence, Colorado. Robert, it's great to see you tonight. I hope things are going well in Florence. Let's take a look at what's going on up near Minot. We do have some storms there. They are not severe. From Turtle Lake and Mercer, McCluskey area and the Sheridan County area, those storms are moving off to the east, heading out towards Drake and drifting out of the general area right now of Velva. So moving out of Minot. You're all but done for now in parts of western North Dakota and even the Highway 83 corridor finishing up. So the risk of severe thunderstorms is ending. How much rain are you forecasting for War Road, Minnesota? Thanks, Matt. War Road, Minnesota. There's going to be pockets. If a thunderstorm hits War Road or hits Roseau or hits Greenbush or hits Salo, underneath the waves of thunderstorms that'll come between basically after midnight tonight and through noon tomorrow, you have 12 hours of passing thunderstorm chances. Depending on wherever those things roam, we're going to see anywhere from a few tenths of an inch of rain, a third of an inch of rain, all the way up to 3 inches of rain, because some places might get hit by multiple storms. So I'm just being honest with you. We don't have a model that's going to track every thunderstorm exactly. I just want you to know that we're going to have pockets that get a third of an inch of rain, maybe even less in a couple. And then under the gully washers, if you get hit by multiple storms, it could be bad. It could be very, very wet. Fair enough, says Trev. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you as well. DL, yes. Grew up on Melissa. Hasn't addressed our area much yet. Okay, Brittany, just making sure. All right, let's go ahead and talk about DL. There's going to, look at that Walhalla storm just starting to fire up there by Langdon. So we do have a couple of thunderstorms starting to fire up in northeastern North Dakota as well. So as you look down on the lakes area, Detroit Lakes, Lake Melissa, out here in the Cormorant Lake chain, down south of Detroit Lakes. If you're out in Lake Park, down here's the Cormorant Lakes, Melissa, Sally, Vergus, and Star Lake, all of these areas right here are going to have a chance at some storms, but the best chance will be very, very late. So the model guidance says I've loaded up loops. Let's load up the reflectivity. Let's go here to the loop, and you're going to see it load out now. Okay, so it's going to take a second to load all this stuff. And am I loading up? I thought I was loading up reflectivity. This is some weird colors here. I'm not sure what it's doing. I'm not sure what this thing's doing. I think I might have broke my computer. Okay. Those do not look like reflectivities. I'm going to try again. I'm going to go to none. I'm going to go back to reflectivity. And I'm going to say reload. I think I may have bugged this thing out. So what I like to do here is take a look at cameras. So let's go to the DOT cameras. I'm going to reset my my software here while I'm doing this. I'm doing 14 things at once. Thanks, Linda, for your appreciation. And I do appreciate you sharing stars with Hutch here on Hutch's Weather. Let's take a look at this DOT camera on the north side of Bismarck. Oh my goodness, look at this shot. Oh my goodness. Very, very deep, dark clouds. You're looking on, this is Highway 83 north of Bismarck, Mandan. And look at that. That's called a beaver tail. That's an inflow part of the storm, an updraft part of the storm. There's no rain coming out of that updraft part of the storm. And then down here, that's where the mass of rain and hail is moving into the northern reaches of Burleigh County right now, north of Bismarck, Mandan. So ditches are not full of water there as we take a look on the north side of town. And so the rainfall amounts there will be interesting to see. Here's a view from the Bismarck Capitol looking off to the west. We can certainly see some low cloud bases way out there in the distance. There is some water in the ditch there. And then again, most of this thunderstorm did not hit the Highway 83 corridor. It hit near Lincoln, the airport, and the eastern side near Minokan, I think, with the heaviest of the rain and hail. So that's what it looks like on this particular camera view to Hutch. Now let's go up here to the Washburn area and see if we could see anything out there. A lot of sunshine after the rain. There is a look at the cells off to the west. As we take a look at the tall shadows, you can tell you're looking off to the east. And now there are some dark skies as we look off. This is a look to the east. So definitely some stormy looking clouds there while Hutch is reloading his radar data. Now let's take a look at something else. I'm going to load something else up. I'm multitasking here. Let's get rainfall amounts from my friends over at the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. They have gauges in your neck of the woods out west and here in east, and oh my goodness, Sioux County. Let me take a look at this. So rain gauges do a good job of measuring rain where the rain falls. If it falls at the location and into the gauge, radar can estimate some of that too. So we'll compare these two. But let me load this up here. I'm loading up an image from my friends at the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network run by the State Climatologist's Office. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now, what you're looking at is rainfall for today, and you can see right here in the Missouri River Valley up there, not far from you folks in the Minot area, 61 hundredths in Ward County, 6/10 of an inch of rain reported in central northern parts of the McLean County area there as you go near Lake Sakakawea, and then Sioux County, 1.5 to 1.6 inches of rain here. Looks like by the Fort Yates area. Bismarck, not reporting too much yet. There's 37 100ths, so you can see the track of those storms was from the University of Mary area right into parts of south central Burleigh County. So that's where those storms made their way through as we've gone through the last little bit. Now, as we reload up the radar data here, now it's coming back in. Let's see if I can just kind of rebuild this thing here. Scene. There we go. Okay, so let's go here to the radar. All right. Hey, how about that? Okay, so we've got a radar back in action here now again, and now let me take a look at the timestamps, make sure we're looking at the main timeline here and not the model. There we go. So that's the present time. Here's the active weather going on right now as we approach the 7 o'clock hour. Severe thunderstorm warnings for the North Dakota, South Dakota border. Lake Oahe and points into the Mobridge area just north of town there. These storms have had a history of producing tornadoes. Notice the hail core is now drifting down to the south, kind of a right-moving cluster of storms. A couple of models did show that this complex of storms was going to dive into southeast North Dakota. It looks like it's mainly making more of a beeline for Harriet. If you are in the areas of southern parts of Emmons County, Strasburg to Harriet, Ashley, Zeeland, these areas will have a better chance at seeing this. If you're in Wishick, you'll be on the north side of this cluster of thunderstorms. This has produced a tornado on the ground. It does look like as it's made its way through McLaughlin, though, hail becoming the main threat from this particular storm on the most recent scan. So if we go to that, here it is. Again, severe thunderstorm warning expires for 7:30. This storm's moving east at 28 miles per hour. A tornado possible tag is put on this. That means there's some rotation being picked up by the Doppler radar. We can't rule a tornado out, but it's at this time not necessarily imminent. But there is going to be considerable damage caused by the hail from this particular thunderstorm cell moving off to the east. So that is a look at what is moving through right now. Here's another look at the Bismarck-Mandan area here. We do see the storms are moving out of Bismarck-Mandan and into central parts of Burleigh County. And we are seeing down here in southern parts of Burleigh County some very strong thunderstorm cells. So again, not far from the Minokan area right here is where we're at. We're looking at areas that are pushing out towards Steele, Tuttle. Those areas are going to be seeing this particular cell with a hail core and some rotation in that particular cell. There is no warning for this particular part of the thunderstorm cell at this particular time. This is just a very strong thunderstorm in southern Burleigh County, moving northeast at about, here it is, 18 miles per hour. You can't see that, but Hutch can. Let me see if I can move this over for you. Here's the cell. 100% hail probability, but only a 30% chance of some severe size hail of 1 inch in diameter. So what we say here, up to 1 inch diameter hail, probably closer to nickel in size. And there is a movement on that particular cell that is to the east northeast at about 18 miles per hour. So that's a look at your weather right now. If storms approach your area, keep in mind we do have a not a severe thunderstorm watch. This is a tornado watch until 11 o'clock at night. We're now crossing into the 7 o'clock hour. Hutch and Pedro and Leo, the prognosticating kitty and the prognosticating puppy, are all here with Hutch right now in the studios of Hutch's Weather. You can always get the very latest by visiting hutchesweather.com. If you're watching on Facebook, thank you so very much. Remember to follow my channel. If you are watching on YouTube, pound the subscribe button, you'll get some notifications. But the best way to keep up to date with the latest in weather is to go to my brand spanking new website, hutchesweather.com. You can see the very latest there on hutchesweather.com. When you go to that site, if you happen to be checking it out right now, you go to the top of the page, it's going to show you I am live right now with a tornado watch for tonight out west. And also we have an update. There's been active tornado warnings and active severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Thanks for keeping my fine sponsors in mind. Visit them for your needs, whether it's from tree care to staying at outstanding hotel establishments here in the FM area. Moorhead State Farm agent David Eggers can keep you prepared for days like this. My friends at Evco Petroleum Products, located in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, serving over a 200-mile radius around that area with all the petroleum products you need to keep your business running on the farm. Give them a call today. Well, Robert Gibbons Sons, over 100 years of service in the Fargo area, and they're in Bismarck as well if you're watching from Bismarck, and Luther Family Ford located here in South Fargo, also a sponsor. These storms, you can do the interactive radar, use it, go down to the bottom of the page, and you know what? If there's something to show you here, or if you have reports of severe weather and photos, you can upload them right here on Hutch's webpage. And if you go there now, we'll show you a look at some of the latest photos that have been uploaded on the page. So thanks to all of you. We've had some northern lights here in the eastern part of the state. Can you believe these views? Are you kidding me? I sure appreciate each of you for sharing these. And not only that, I really respect you for getting out there in the wee hours of the overnight. This is northwest of Alexandria, Minnesota. You're looking at the Milky Way galaxy. Alicia, thank you so very, very much for uploading your view of the Milky Way galaxy. And woo, how about this, Alicia? Northwest of Alexandria out there off the I-94 corridor in nearly central Minnesota. Extremely gorgeous colors there, dancing with the stars. And again, we had more awesome photos of the northern lights. This one from the Twin Valley, Minnesota area. Look at the stars there and all the vibrant colors. And again, this was from last night or very early this morning at about 2 o'clock in the morning. Amazing shots here. And thank you so very much, Melissa Smith, for capturing these Twin Valley sites. And if you look really close on these upcoming ones here, you're going to see not only the northern lights, but right above Hutch's head, that's not a mistake. That is one of them Starlink satellites zipping over the head. So thanks so much. This is Heidi near Bemidji, Minnesota, home of Babe the Blue Ox and Paul Bunyan out there sharing some uploads. So if you have reports of severe weather, visit hutchesweather.com. I love to share those photos with you. We have a new tornado warning, Uh-oh. Let's get back to that. This is outside of the Bismarck area right now. You can see the pink box right here. That polygon is for a tornado-warned storm heading in the general direction of Steele, right along the I-94 corridor east of Lincoln. So this is the same storm system that's working its way eastward. This is a tornado-warned storm. Let's click on it and get the latest. This warning is a radar-indicated warning. There's not somebody that's confirmed one on the ground. I'm also looking at information from the National Weather Service office concerning a storm just southeast of Sterling. Okay, so Sterling and heading into that general direction of Steele. The radar is depicting an area of some rotation. Let's go ahead and put up the latest on the reflectivity and the velocity from that. So let's go to the base velocity product here and take a look. Okay, I think what I'm doing is looking at this. There we go. I got to load up a different radar product to get to my base velocity. There we go. Sorry for that. And once again, I am just getting used to some brand new software here. So thanks for your patience with Hutch as I try to get this information to you. I'm going to turn off the tornado watch area right now. Here's the tornado warning. Look at these very bright colors here. We are looking at outflow from this storm right here, punching out. Okay. And that is interacting with inflow right here. And this area right here is the area of churning in the atmosphere or spin. That's a Doppler indicated tornado right there, making its way off to the east. This storm is moving east at 28 miles per hour. So if you are in Steele, it's moving in your general direction and will be there. Well, let's take a look at some measurements with regards to this storm system as we are going to look at some spatial tools here. Boom. Sorry about that. Let's get a line measurement from where the rotating part of this thunderstorm is right now out to Steele. Okay. Let's pause the loop. Here's the rotation. Here's Steele, 16 miles away. Okay. And once again, this storm is moving 16 miles away, moving at about 20 miles per hour. So 30 miles per hour. So in 30 minutes, it will be near you. So by around 7:25, you'll want to be in your shelters. If you are anywhere in I-94 and point south, east of Bismarck, between eastern Burleigh County and the extreme western edges of Kidder County, North Dakota. So tornado warning is active and remains so. It does look like we have a thunderstorm warning that's continuing for areas north of Bismarck. They've just issued another one for the Bismarck-Mandan area. They've just issued another severe thunderstorm warning for the Bismarck area. Let me turn on the base reflectivity once again and look at what we have coming into town. Is that old? That must be old. Till Wednesday at 7:15. What is this? Radar indicated hail moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Maybe the radar is not seeing something. I'm going to switch radars here. We might still be having some radar problems there because I'm certainly not seeing anything unless they're not talking about this line moving in. Let me read what the Weather Service has to say here and get back to you on that. Okay, sorry about that. Severe thunderstorm warning for Morton County is canceled. That's weird. I think there's a problem here. I think there is a problem with the coding on this. I'm not certain that there is a thunderstorm warning right now for Bismarck. I don't see it on their site, but it's showing up on mine. So sometimes these codes get mixed up on the software, and I think that's what's going on here. Tornado watch remains in effect until 11. That says that warning is in effect for the next 4 minutes, so it's likely expiring. So let's just say that the thunderstorm is exited the warned area, and that is now done. Bismarck is in the clear. This activity out here, not severe, heading into the eastern reaches of Morton County, and it's heading into the Mandan area right now. That's not severe. But if you're up in the Reagan wing area, these storms are severe. This one has some significant hail with it, making its way from Reagan and heading up towards McCluskey. You have a whole wall of storms heading into McCluskey. One's coming at you from the south. These are moving easterly. So they're converging on your neck of the woods right now. So we do have a cluster of thunderstorms. An active tornado warning is in effect for southern and eastern parts of Burleigh County. This is for Sterling, North Dakota, heading out towards Steele. Yeah, I think Pedro's all choked up about that weather. Yes, he is. You okay, Pedro? Okay, good enough. Everybody wants to know how Pedro's doing. Thanks for watching, everybody. What will Hallock, Minnesota get? Connie, I hope we answered that question. St. Hilaire, northeast parts of North Dakota, northwest Minnesota won't see anything until later hours tonight. Active weather in the central Dakotas right now continues to move east. I am going to bow out. We have an active tornado warning in effect for southern and eastern Burleigh County and the extreme southwestern corner of Kidder County. That is now in effect, and it's in the area of Steele. It should be in your area by around 7:29. Seek shelter in the lowest floor of a sturdy structure, staying away from windows. I'll be back with more coming up here in moments, but for now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I appreciate you watching. If you've never seen me before on my platform on YouTube, please subscribe. You can also like my videos there, like my videos on Facebook, follow me on Facebook, or check the weather anytime on hutchesweather.com. hutchesweather.com. You can also upload your reports of severe weather, photos of activity going on in the area. Thanks so very much. For now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. We have a tornado watch until 11 o'clock tonight, Central Standard Time, for the central part of the Dakotas, including parts of north central South Dakota, south central North Dakota. I'll keep you updated right here. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe.